What is going on, guys? Noah Brewer here, back again with another video, and today we're going to be talking about how to fix inconsistencies inside of your TikTok ads account. So this isn't going to be like a fancy screen share or anything like that. I'm literally just going to be speaking about my experiences with TikTok ads so far, how I've been able to combat the super brutal inconsistencies with the platform, and I'm going to be giving you some specific things that you can start focusing on to start getting more consistent results with your TikTok ads. So one thing that you need to understand is one of the biggest reasons that people fail when they start getting into TikTok ads is because they treat it like it's similar to Facebook ads, and it is completely different. The truth is that if Facebook is a 7 out of 10 in terms of pixel optimization, then TikTok ads is a 3 out of 10. They're completely different, and yes, I mean that the TikTok ads pixel optimization is much worse than that of Facebook's. And to get a couple things clear before we move forward, when I say pixel, I'm talking about the actual data collection and storage of data on the platform, aka what TikTok is keeping track of for their users. And then when I say optimization, it's basically how TikTok utilizes that data to help you hit your goals. So if you're optimizing for complete payments, TikTok is going to use the pixel data that they have on their users to try and optimize your ads to show your ads to people who are most likely to complete a payment through your website. One thing I will say is that Facebook pixel is literally like 1,000 times smarter and more experienced, and also the optimization is like 1,000 times better than that of TikTok ads, and it's way more accurate. This means that Facebook has way more information on their users and how they interact with different ads and different platforms than TikTok has and probably ever will, if I'm being completely honest. Unless TikTok completely transitions to a more social-based platform with friends and messages and it starts becoming used in that way, I think there's a slight chance that TikTok ads will ever reach the level of pixel and optimization that Facebook ads have, just simply because Facebook has had compounding data collection and optimization experience with their algorithm over like the last 10 to 15 years, which is absolutely ridiculous. And TikTok is literally like 2 years in, and it's simply just unrealistic to expect the TikTok pixel and the algorithm to be able to optimize as good as Facebook does. So the reason I'm saying this is because you cannot treat TikTok ads like you treated Facebook ads. Facebook ads was almost 100% about gaming the algorithm and tricking the pixel into doing certain things and optimizing a certain way, and I was really good at that. So when I got into TikTok ads, I was kind of getting confused. Like, I did certain things and I didn't see certain results, and we were seeing like a lot of ups and downs, which is very common on the TikTok platform. Like, I'm not some god that just has, perfectly flat sales from TikTok ads, but one thing you need to understand is that in order to promote consistency on the TikTok platform, you have to put out consistent actions and do a few other things that we'll be going over in this video. It's not like Facebook where you can just implement a really good ad strategy and basically get the pixel to work for you. You really have to work for TikTok. It's kind of the other way around. So one thing that I want to say is that TikTok ads seem completely random in their optimization. This means that while Facebook was actively looking for people that are most likely to purchase your product or showing your ads to the people, based on the data points that they've collected who have already purchased your products, they kind of optimize to try to make your ads perform better. Whereas TikTok, I feel like, is more angling on the side of just show your ads to as many people as possible and cross their fingers and hope that people purchase. And yes, they may be using some data points such as interests or things that they like or the friends that they have or whatever. However, we know that it's nowhere near as accurate, and I feel like TikTok is using more of a shotgun approach as opposed to a super optimized, algorithmic approach that Facebook took. And I think they actually are doing this. Like, I think the results are pretty much completely random, like in terms of who they're showing your ads to. I'm sure, like I said, there's a little bit of optimization going on there, but who really knows? And based on what I'm seeing, there's not much optimization, because I have seen zero evidence that the more purchases you have, the better your ads perform. Honestly, I've seen more evidence leaning towards the fact that the less purchases you have, the better your ads perform. I know that sounds weird, but just the other day we had a product that was kind of simmering down and kind of dying out. Cost per purchases were going up, and for some reason we wanted to test out just a new pixel, just no data, just brand new pixel, and the performance was almost triple as good on a brand new pixel as opposed to a pixel that already had data and already had a bunch of sales to back it up. Which, how do you explain that? You can't really explain it other than saying that TikTok pixel optimization is mostly random, and this is another reason I think they're going for the shotgun method. Now, it's not the worst thing in the world that they're doing this because they heavily make up for it in low CPMs. So the amount of money that it costs you to be seen by, 10,000 people is much, much cheaper on TikTok than it is on Facebook, of course. But like I said, that's usually relative to the quality of the traffic and the quality of people that are seeing your ads. While CPMs may be a little bit higher on Facebook than TikTok, they're definitely more optimized towards your target customer than TikTok ads are currently, at least. So essentially, the TikTok pixel, relying on the data collection that they currently have set up and the optimization that their algorithm is using, I would say that it's not smart enough to be dependable, and you need to win in other ways. And before you ask, no, I am not talking about the learning phase, because I've seen zero correlation between being in or out of the learning phase and the results that you're seeing. So in this video, we're going to be talking about some of those other things, but I wanted to kind of add this section to kind of explain to you the context of the TikTok pixel and the optimization as compared to Facebook, so that you can have some context and have a better idea as to how this is working and what kind of mindset I'm having moving into this. So one of the things that you absolutely have to understand when you're talking about consistency and business is that consistent actions lead to consistent results. Now, this is just a fundamental that basically just states that if you're not being consistent yourself, you're not allowed to expect other things to be consistent for you. Essentially, how are you going to expect consistency out of your ad account if you're not consistently taking actions inside of that ad account? Now, what I mean by this specifically is the pattern in which you create new campaigns and ad groups, or the pattern in which you scale vertically versus horizontally. Essentially, you can train your ad account to expect certain actions based on the way that you create your campaigns. The best example that I can think of is in almost every single TikTok ad account that we're managing right now, we do things every other day. What I mean by this is we have a single day where we create new ad groups and turn off the bad ones, and then we have another day where we literally do nothing. So it's like every other day, one day we'll create something new and turn off the bad ones. The next day, we won't touch shit. We'll just let it run. And this allows me to create like a very consistent pattern, and it allows me to take very consistent actions and kind of know what I'm doing. It allows you to see, different actions that you take versus the result that it has on the ad account. And when you take consistent actions like this, honestly, in my experience, and this goes for Facebook and TikTok ads really, it's really easy to see what you're doing that's right and wrong, but also whether it's just a hunch or, conspiracy or whatever, I truly think that consistent actions inside of an ad account result in consistent results. So I don't really think it really matters what your pattern is, if you're making and killing every single day, or if you want to give a day in between, which is the route that I choose to take based on the results that I've seen, or if you want to do something once per week. I don't think it really matters what the pattern is, as much as it matters that there's a pattern and you're not just, creating and killing things randomly throughout the day. And, some days you'll do something, some days you won't. 1 week it's every other day, the next week it's every single day. I think you need a pattern, and you need to stay consistent with the way that you're creating and turning off ad groups and campaigns inside of your ad account. So this goes for your strategies as well. Everybody's trying to do the next big glitch, random vertical scale campaigns, launching campaigns in random patterns, just taking completely random actions inside of their ad accounts based on however they're feeling that day or how risky they're feeling that day. And this is not the way that I've ever recommend to run advertising, so a lot of you shouldn't even be doing it in the first place. However, I still continue to see a lot of people running ads in this way. It's kind of like the Giga Chad way to run ads, where you just kind of open up your ad account, look at what's going on, make a bunch of campaigns, and close your computer and pray that it performs well the next day. Now, of course, this may have worked well for you on one store, 1 or 2 stores or whatever, but when you're really trying to replicate your results and really see consistent results over time, you need to get consistent in your actual strategy. So while you have to stay consistent in your actions, you also have to be consistent with the specific strategies and things that you're doing. And this is not to dismiss testing new things and new strategies. This is simply to enforce that once you have something that works, you should be trying to replicate it so that you can do it over and over again, so that you can start seeing more consistent results. So when you're creating campaigns, you need to look for ways that you can, for one, replicate your strategies so that you can do it over and over and over again, with different products, different ad accounts, or maybe even with the same product inside of the same ad account. And I'll give you an example of a replicable strategy that we follow as a part of our agency, almost with every single winning product that we find. And it goes like this. first. So usually we'll start off a test with, regular ad groups with just 5 ads under each ad group. Then once we have our top 3 performing creatives from that top 5, we will create a ACO campaign, which will take the top 3 creatives from the top 5, put it into an ACO and let it run. This is usually one of the most consistent campaigns as a base level. From there, we'll take the best performing creative out of the ACO and put it in a new campaign where there's only 1 ad under each ad group. These also perform very, very consistently. From that stage, we will move into vertical scaling, which could be duping and doubling budgets or doing $100 per days in new campaigns. So what this allows us to do, if we ever have a winning product that has 5 ads under each ad group, we know that the next best step for that campaign is to create a new campaign with the top 3 with an ACO. And then if that ACO works, we know that the next best step is to do an isolation. You see where I'm trying to go here? It's basically that we're not doing things randomly. We have a pattern, we have a way that we like to do things, and it allows us to see consistent results. And when one product works and another one doesn't, we're not blaming the randomness of our strategy, because there is no randomness in our strategy, and we see consistency amongst all the products that we scale. So taking this type of approach and doing things in a structured manner with your specific strategy is a much better way to see way more consistent results over time inside of your ad account, as opposed to just, giga chatting it up and just doing random things inside of your ad account depending on how you're feeling at the time. And that's just my opinion, and I think it's a big reason why a lot of people see really inconsistent results with their TikTok ads, and it's literally just because you don't have a consistent strategy that you're sticking to. Another thing that I think is worth mentioning is do not scale only using stolen or repurposed content. In my opinion, as soon as you see profits, you should order the product, get it to your house, and start making TikToks, which we'll get into a little bit later in this video. And if you don't want to order the product, or if you live in a country that takes long shipping times or whatever, you can use a service such as Viral Ecom Ads, and they'll actually create TikToks for you. That way you can start posting organically, and you can start posting consistent new creatives inside of your TikTok ads manager. Now, it's barely an opinion, it's pretty much a fact that at this point, in order to scale on TikTok, you need custom creatives, and you need to be releasing new creatives as time goes on. And doing them custom basically allows you to avoid potential DMCA claims, and it'll also allow you to be in full control of the content that you're putting out there, so you can launch creatives whenever you need them, pretty much on demand. Now, I wouldn't say that custom content TikToks will perform better than your repurposed/stolen content, but what I will say is it will help avoid a lot of the consistency issues and reliability issues and legal issues that you get with the stolen/repurposed content. So in the end, your ads can be super duper consistent, but if you get a DMCA claim or a cease and desist, you can be forced to take them down overnight, and getting custom content pretty much allows you to avoid that entirely. Also, not to mention the level of flexibility it gives you to be able to test new creatives, hop on trends, with the creatives, and basically launch creatives whenever you want. So yeah, as soon as you find a winner, order the product and start making custom content, please. So another thing that you can do more often to promote good consistency inside of your TikTok ad account is doing ACOs more often. So for some reason, ACOs have been one of our most consistent campaigns in terms of, there's way less up and down, and it's more consistent sales every day, as opposed to just like good day, bad day, good day, bad day. And I don't really know why. I think it has something to do with the fact that you're putting the control in TikTok's hands to decide which creatives to show, in which case they kind of reward you by bringing better results. I'm not 100% sure. Like I said, the TikTok pixel and optimization is a little bit weird right now, and I think it's a little bit stupid. It's got something going on with it. But even more specifically, the best performing and most consistent campaign are specifically ACOs with your top 3 creatives inside of it. So 3 creatives that are already proven to make sales and be the best creatives inside of an ACO is probably the most consistent campaign that you can make inside of your ad account right now. And the reason I'm emphasizing that is because you can't just test a product with all brand new creatives and expect it to be super consistent out the gate. Specifically, I'm talking about your best creatives inside of an ACO. And one thing that I want to say, because I don't want to go too in depth in this video, is I literally just made a video on how to make an ACO, and I also explained them very in depth on what they are, how to use them, and I also made an ACO campaign live in my last video. So if you want to learn more about those, go check it out. Go to my channel, check out the last video I uploaded. So another campaign type that has been incredibly consistent for me recently, oddly enough, even though it's the complete opposite of an ACO, it's an isolation campaign. And basically the reason I call it an isolation campaign is because we're taking the best creative out of an ACO or an ad group with multiple creatives, and we're isolating it in a new campaign where there's literally just the one best creative under each ad group in that campaign. So of course you can pull from your original test campaigns, you can pull from ACOs, whatever you do. Again, this is one of the most consistent campaigns that I've seen recently on TikTok ads, is literally just like one ad group, a single ad under each ad group. So I understand that it's very weird that the two most consistent campaigns that we're seeing are basically polar opposites, right? Like one of them is an ACO with a bunch of different creatives under it, and the other one is literally just one creative. So it's kind of like extremes on both ends of the spectrum. However, I let the results speak, and I don't try to mix my opinions on what I think is weird and what I think makes sense. I just look at what's going on and give you guys the data as I see it. So when you're making your original test campaigns or ACOs and you're looking for a way to progress your ad account and get more sales coming in, think about doing an isolation campaign. Take your top creative and isolate it in a new campaign and just see what happens, because in my experience, it's been super duper consistent as opposed to even ACOs or just regular, 5 ads under each ad group campaigns, and it could be a way to bring in some extra profits. So one thing we have to keep in mind when talking about consistency in general is that all businesses, and especially e-commerce, are inconsistent. Like, it's perfectly normal to have good days, good months, bad months, whatever. So where do we go from there, and what is the number one way that you can build consistency inside of your e-commerce store? And it actually has nothing to do with TikTok ads. It's more just general business advice that I think that you should take to heart. Retargeting and diversification. When you find a winning product, don't solely rely on TikTok ads to bring in your sales, because again, even with the most consistent campaigns and the best results, you're still gonna have good and bad days. One of the best ways to fight this is to throw your Facebook pixel on your store, the Google Analytics code, Snapchat pixel, Pinterest pixel, whatever platforms you want to advertise on. Let it build up data from your TikTok ads and then start retargeting on those other platforms. Not only will this help bring in revenue on your slow days, but they could be profitable on their own. And even if they're not, you're still planting seeds and building data on those new platforms that could potentially sprout. And maybe you could scale the product on Facebook ads in the future as well. Maybe you could scale it on TikTok. Maybe you could scale it on Facebook. Whatever the situation is, it's good to plant those seeds, and it also helps with consistency a lot, because you may have a really bad day with TikTok one day and also a really good day with Facebook. So it'll kind of balance out over time. And I think this is one of the great tips that I needed to include in this video, because obviously all businesses are inconsistent. It's kind of part of the game to have good days, bad days, good months, bad months, whatever. And diversifying your traffic sources is definitely one of the number one ways to build consistency inside of your business. Now, this one should kind of go without saying, and I feel like a lot of you know that you should be doing this, but you're just not because you're stubborn or whatever. But start posting organically pretty much once you find a winning product. And again, this ties into making custom content, and we said that we were going to talk about this, so let's talk about it. Why should you start posting organically with your winning product? Number one, it'll make you much better at the platform itself. If you're actively trying to make your product go viral organically, then you're going to have to be testing new trends, and you're going to have to keep your eye out on what's currently working on the platform so that you can hop on trends and try to make your product go viral. Number two, if your product goes viral, you can make very, very high profit revenue because there's no ad spend, right? So essentially $10,000 in revenue from organic is probably equivalent to like $30,000 to $50,000 in revenue from ads, just because you have no ad spend tied to that revenue. If you had a 50% gross margin and you make $10,000 organically, you're making $5,000 in profit off the rip because there's no ad spend to subtract from the revenue. Number three, it'll provide high quality and pre-approved or pre-qualified creatives to run with your ads. You can post your creatives organically and see how they perform before you start spending money on them, and I think this is really, really powerful. Number four, you can test Spark ads, which in my opinion are not really that great, but it is worth mentioning. And number five, if you build a following organically, you have great potential to turn your product into a brand. So keep this in mind. TikTok ads are inconsistent, just flat out, and it probably probably will remain that way for quite some time as their data gets better at collecting data and their algorithm gets better at optimizing. I think it'll take a little bit of time before it starts becoming consistent, or at least generally known as being consistent for the platform. And to be honest, there's no like easy one-time fix or cheat code that you can implement today to start seeing, flatline consistent growth with your TikTok ads, because honestly, everybody's experiencing this up and down, and there's only so much that you can do. But I think the mixture of good practices, such as the ones that we've talked about in this video, can really help you build consistency inside of your ad accounts, and especially with your e-commerce store in general, just implementing the mindsets and ideologies from this video. So there's really no one-size-fits-all solution to this. It's really just like your overall skill level and how you operate inside of your ad account that really matters. And if you want to get better results and more consistent results over time, most of it is simply just being more consistent with your actions, your strategies, doing things like diversifying on other platforms and the other things that we talked about in this video. So I hope it was incredibly valuable for you, and I hope that you can keep on going with your e-commerce store, implement some of the things that we talked about in this video, and it ends up making your store a little bit more consistent and allows you to bring in a little bit more profits, because that's the real reason why I make these videos. So of course, if you like this video, leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. If you have any feedback or some ways that you've been able to fix TikTok inconsistencies, leave them in the comment section down below. I love the feedback that you guys give, and it also helps, each other inside of the community, because I always read comments on every video that I watch, and I'm assuming that you guys do too. So by leaving feedback, not only are you helping me and helping me get better, but you're also helping all the other viewers, and all of us really appreciate it. But that's pretty much it for this video. This is Noah Brewer, and I'm out. Peace.